Good morning all, Belinda here again. Two more very quick easy flowers. I was at my local Spotlight store and there was a lady doing a tutorial on one of these flowers which I thought looked quite interesting. So I came home and tried it. It came out quite pretty. The other is a flower that I have been making for a long time. My gran and I used to make them when I was a child. We used to call them pom-pom flowers. Now that's this little fella here. Not sure if that's the correct name, but they're very pretty, very quick, very easy. So I thought I'd do one of those as well. This is one that the lady was making at Spotlight. Sorry, I just take all those little decorations off. All she did was start with a little round ring and just added the laces. It came out quite pretty, and then you embellish it. That one there I'll pop over. This other one here we'll have a go today. Now with the pom-pom flower, chiffon, any light material you can find is really good for this little flower. We'll have to be quick today because I'm trying to hold everything down. It's very, very hot here. Up here in the far north Queensland today, and I've had to turn my fan right down to do the tutorial because it keeps blowing the material. So we're going to make this very quick. If you are able to hold a big amount of material in your hand, you won't need to do this first step. I can't. My hands won't hold that sort of material anymore. My fingers and hands don't work that well. So all I do is this material is around about 7 to 9 centimeters in depth, and the length, of course, you want of your flower. The one we're going to be making over here is about 90 centimeters. If you take a very thin layer of glue, turn your your material in half, allow it to dry. That for me is so much easier than to try and hold a bundle of material in my hand. Very easy. That is probably your first step. Let it dry because otherwise it gums up your needle. Now mine has dried here. Did exactly the same as what you just saw, but I'm just doing the far end here because it saves a lot of time. So as you can see, I stuck it. It has now had time to dry, and I just take my scissors and I'm snipping them. Now it depends on how wide you would like these little pom-poms to be, to how thick you snip your material. About 3/4 of the way, to make sure that you don't snip it through, and snip it all the way to the end. As I said, I did some of the other before I came on because it just takes a lot of time. It's time consuming. Now what we did is like we did before. We take a needle and cotton. I'll just thread that, turn your material and just gather it. Now it's very fine, so be careful that you do catch your material. And I'll just stitch all the way down here. As I was saying, it's extremely hot up here in Cairns at the moment. Far north Queensland is very, very warm. So we're making a quick tutorial so that we can get the fan back on. So just gathering it like you did all the way down. Stitches don't have to be even or anything as long as you're catching the material. The reason I put that glue in there is because it is very hard for me to hold a big lump of it in my hand and try and fold it and hold it, so I just run the layer of glue. I've done several. The glue works just as well as anything. You don't see it once you're finished, so you might as well make it as easy as possible on yourself. Adding the running stitch all the way down. As I said, you can use different materials. The light materials is what you need so that you have your pom-pom being quite light and airy. I always thought it looked a little bit like a carnation flower. And my gran used to make them and put hairbands and all sorts on them for me when I was a child. You could do many things with them. They do come out with a little bit of thickness, so maybe if you wanted something a little flatter for project. This one wouldn't be the best, but okay, so adding that all the way down. Lots of little petals here, as you can see, nearly to the end. And yeah, chiffons, maybe nettings. I would imagine something like maybe some of your soft silks, but you'd need something, or even maybe some tulle, maybe that would work. Okay, so we're down to the end here. Now we're going to take it through our needle and pull our needle out, pulling your cotton. Now this part here, lay it down, because you don't want that too gathered. Now to sit it on your table and pull your stitching so that it's not quite so full. Okay, so it's gathered by all means, but not gathered tightly, if that makes sense. Starting from the end that you don't have your needle, start to roll your material. So we're just rolling it round and round until you get to the end. That one didn't go very well. Rolling it down to the end. Not quite so thick there. And our little pom-pom's already forming on the other end, and I've dropped that bit there somehow. And around again, around again. Right, so as you can see, it now becomes your pom-pom. Now, when I've finished, I like to wrap the cotton just around the back of it, hold your pom-pom, wrap your cotton around, straighten it up so it's got a flatter back, like so, and then you can use that onto your project. Very quick, very easy. I hope you enjoy making those, and I'll talk again.